Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour. My name is Martin Coward, and we've been hosting this noonday broadcast since the beginning of the pandemic as a sanctuary, if you will, a refuge from all of the drama in the world brought on by this crisis. And I'm so glad that we did, because it's really been an anchor for me to get through. And I know a lot of you who've joined me, and I appreciate that. And what we're doing now, as we've gotten to sort of move us through the pandemic, we're not so much in such crisis. We're learning how do we take who we are today and what we've learned about ourselves and our resilience and our courage and how we truly are, and that we've gotten through this. Now, what do we do with it? Now, how do we show up bigger than we were before? And so my series, my theme this month is celebrating extraordinary gay, bi, trans men doing ordinary things that inspire us. And I'm so excited that today I have a dear friend, Damon L. who is a therapist, and he is an HIV specialist. He's a writer, and he's a great speaker. And I met him at an NGLCC conference a few years ago where he was a speaker, and I just fell in love with him. And so I was so excited when he agreed to come on today to share some of his wisdom. And he's got a mission right now, and that is about helping and supporting aging gay people, gay men, particularly, that's his specialty, with aging, so they age with power and love and joy and fun. So I'm going to one more thing is, if you're joining us, please do me a big favor, and let me see here, comments. Please do me a big favor and just comment in the comment section, in the chat section, that you're here with your name, so that I know you're here, and say hello. We also encourage and love comments and questions, because we want to make this as interactive as possible. So please, here we go. There's somebody saying hello. Hello, Mindy. How are you doing? Mindy's she's been a favorite fan for a long time, and we're glad she's here. Thank you so much. She's actually been a guest on the show before. So Mindy, it's great to see you here today. Thank you for joining us. And that's what that looks like, by the way, Damon, when they pop in. So enough said by me. And Damon, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you share your story and tell us what you're doing to help gay men age with more power, more love, more joy in their lives.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you, and so good to talk with you, and really, reshape these conversations now on what we have to look forward to. So much of this past year has been dealing with what has been happening around us, of so much tragedy and so much pain. And I think our generation of LGBTQ individuals, are so exceptionally resilient. And it's time for us to really embrace that and really get the benefits of that. And that's what I think we're looking forward to in these conversations. How we go forward from this point, based on lessons we've learned from the COVID pandemic, from the AIDS pandemic, from the Trump pandemic, all these events in our lives that we have lived through and persisted. And I think if we think about it a certain way, we can really learn from this and put all this together in a way that allows for a lot of serenity, a lot of joy, and a lot of play going forward. So here's where I come from in all this. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of New York, as well as in the state of California. And I'm turning 50 in a few weeks. And I started, And I started working as a therapist when I was 25. So that means I am now about 50% of my life has been working as a therapist in some capacity. And most of that has been serving the LGBTQ population. So really started doing this work in 1996. And we can see in our world, that a lot has changed from 1996. Hi, Adam. Adam's a big part of this. I'm wearing his shirt today. He makes these shirts.
Hey, Adam, thank you for joining us. So glad you're here from Provincetown.
If we think about going back to 1996, how much has changed in the external realm, in terms of the social acceptance that we have in this country. it's, it's still not perfect, but, in 1996, we still didn't have an Ellen. We still didn't have Will and Grace. There were pretty much no representations of LGBTQ individuals in any mainstream media or movies. So we didn't really have a lot of role models back then. So we've come so far in terms of normalizing representation in the last 25 years. The other thing are legal protections. We have marriage equality now. It started in the States. Now it's federal. We have so many legal protections that we didn't have 25 years ago. And I think one of the ones people often forget that's really crucial that came about during the Obama administration is the right to see a partner when they're in the hospital. Because we didn't have that in the 90s. So if you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend who was sick with AIDS or cancer, you did not have a legal right to see them in the hospital, and their families could have kept you out of the hospital.
Oh, I know. I had friends that way. Let me ask you a question. Is it your birthday?
April 25th, 20 days from now.
Okay.
But I'm celebrating it all year round because it's a pandemic. So instead of having a birthday, I'm having a birth year. So we
Perfect. I love that. I just want to go back to what you just said. I had a friend that, people were so ignorant back in those days too. Parents were ignorant. They felt all that shame. And one of my best friends was dying of AIDS, and his mother would not let his boyfriend in the room. It was tragic. It was tragic because she was in so much denial about her son being gay and didn't believe he should be there. And he didn't get to come. And the guy died, and he couldn't have his boyfriend there who loved him, and he loved him. So, what you're talking about is very real. And it was a tragedy. And I was what they call a red coater. And I used to go over to the hospital and volunteer just to visit people because people's families abandoned them. It was horrible, So yeah, we've gone through a lot. And so thank you for reminding us of where we were. And also because it makes us clear that where we are today makes us more grateful for where we are today. Let's just say that.
So those are two factors: the social acceptance, the legal protections, and let's talk about the medical advancements of the last 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started working as a therapist right at the moment that the antiretrovirals started to become available. Those are the ARTs. What that means is medicines that people living with HIV could take to extend the quality and quantity of their lives. And I'm sure a lot of people remember we didn't have any of those that were reliable and effective until 1996.
Right.
So since then, we have seen that become the norm. We have seen people taking these drugs to stay alive and having them get better and better and better at keeping people alive with less side effects and really exceed in having a quality and quantity of life that's worth living if you're living with HIV and AIDS. Now, also in the last 10 years, we had this brilliant idea come around called PrEP. And PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's something that an HIV negative person could take to prevent HIV from entering their body. I have now been using it for almost 10 years. And it is something that people who are HIV negative can use to stay HIV negative if they were to become exposed to HIV. And then, even after that, we found out that if someone is living with HIV and they're undetectable, meaning they're taking their drugs and their viral load is suppressed, that they cannot medically impossible to transmit HIV to another human being.
Wow.
So these medical advancements that we have seen are nothing short of miraculous and wonderful. We can stop the spread of HIV and still have amazing, intimate sex. Because people living with HIV can't spread HIV if their viral load is suppressed. People who are HIV negative can't get HIV if they are taking PrEP regularly. So we put all that together, Martin. What do we see? We have social acceptance, legal protections, and medical advancements in a way that is historically unique, that we have never seen before. And you would think, and I might think, and maybe people would think, all right, well, that's it. Euphoria, we're good. Everybody's happy. Everything's good. What's interesting is that in the 25 years I've been doing this work and talking with my colleagues about doing this work, despite all of these wonderful, wonderful advantages, we are not actually seeing a significant change in the struggles of LGBTQ individuals in therapy sessions. Specifically with gay men, we still have so many fears: depression, anger, substance abuse, terror about gaining weight, about body size, about penis size, fears of being lonely as one gets older. There's all of these issues that have been present in the room, haven't really altered just because of these external changes. So I think what that calls upon us as healthcare people and healers and our community as a whole is to say, okay, what's going on? And what do we do to change this? Is there an opportunity now that we've never had before to think about aging, to think about our 50s, our 60s, our 70s, our 80s, and to embrace this moment, this historically unique moment? Let's meet it in a way that enhances the power, the purpose, the pleasure of getting older. And let's do this in a way that's never really been done before, because we've never really had a cohort, a generation of gay men age up and thrive before. Tragically, so many of our elders were lost to us by the AIDS crisis. And I know a lot of younger people or don't even know an older gay person, not because they don't want to, but just because we haven't really been around. So I feel like we're kind of creating a blueprint here. We're kind of walking this path that hasn't really been walked historically before. And you, Martin, and me, and so many people around us are really interested in looking at this now creatively and joyfully, because we get to do this here. We kind of get to create the path. We get to pave this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's get older. Let's celebrate. Let's play. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse in this room, but let's have a lot of sex and be smart about how we create our professional goals, our money, and our inner sense of peace and power that we nurture and harvest at all moments.
Absolutely, Damon. I think this is spot on. As we are moving into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of women, the age of the divine feminine, and that's the part of, it's not a gender, it's the part of all of us that cares about others. And that's what's been woken up in all of us. It's been woken up in me, it's been woken up in you. And I have a name for that divine feminine. Her name is Joy the Wise Woman. And what we do and what you're doing, I'm going to just is we're shining our light on the shadow beliefs that you're talking about that make people depressed, because we believe those things. We believe gay men particularly have a deep sense of unworthiness because of their sexual orientation. And those feelings, those unique feelings of, and that's our creative power. That's where our power is. So from where I see it as a prosperity coach in this world, is that when I'm working with a gay client, the reason why I work largely with them is because I want them to get excited about that internal, it's those tingly feelings that are so powerful, as to engage that in everything that you do, in everything that you create. So we're really, I love what you're saying, because it shows me you and I are on base. You got your way of doing it and you got mine, but it's the same path to give men, particularly gay men, to empower them to live more fully into their queer nature, into that queer power.
Absolutely. And to bring light to this, because what I find is that in my practice, a lot of people, and I do have to own that the majority of my practice right now are gay men, but a lot of them don't even realize that they're holding themselves back. One of my favorite movies as a kid was Footloose in 1984. And there's this line where Kevin Bacon's like trying to pass legislation so teenagers are allowed to dance in the town. And he's surprised because he gets so much resistance. It's like, people don't want this. And he says, everybody's choking, but they don't know they're choking. And I thought, even as a kid, that made sense to me. And I feel like right now, a lot of people in the gay community are choking and they don't even know they're choking. They're being so limited and held down by fear. I know so many gay men who, by all external factors, are successful, but live in absolute terror of gaining weight. And they hate their bodies at any size. I mean, they just have body dysmorphia, meaning they always think there's something wrong with their body, no matter what. And that really holds them back from touch, from intimacy, from play with other people. And that's the kind of blind spot that I'm talking about, which really interferes with our quality of life. And it doesn't have to.
No, because it's just a story they made up about bodies.
Right.
It's just a story they made up.
They don't even realize they made it up.
And they don't even realize somewhere along the line, like from mine, my big my biggest issue is around money. And I truly believe that the only people, from all my family drama around money and everything else, I didn't realize that actually people were lovable unless they made money. And you weren't financially successful. The only people who were worthy of anything were people who made money and were financial. And I literally believed that, and I thought anybody else was sorry, and which is absurd when you think about it. But that was the conditioning I got as a kid. And when you take that with that same story and you add it to being gay and being different and being not a normal boy, it makes it even worse because you don't think you deserve it because you were told at age 4. So we're still holding on to these ridiculous stories that we believe to be true that we're captive by. So what you're doing is you're out there shouting it from no, you are beautiful, perfect, and powerful exactly as you are, exactly the size that you are, the size penis that you have, whatever you gain with is absolutely perfectly beautiful.
Yes. And if we really know that, if we really own that, that's where we have this space to create ebullient joy that we haven't really had before. I think our generation is really unique in terms of having now gone through 2 pandemics, 2 times that we've associated touch and intimacy with death.
Right.
So we've had AIDS and COVID. And we have gone through both of these. So what that does in our brain is often just lapse into that part of our synapses that said touch is dangerous, sex is dangerous, kissing is dangerous, loving is dangerous. And it's really time for us to look at that honestly and think about working through that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we do that, when we get through the fears and we really embrace the physical body of all shapes and sizes and textures and colors and just say all bodies are beautiful. That doesn't mean everyone's attracted to everybody. That doesn't mean every body is erotic to everybody. But the human body in and of itself is a beautiful, beautiful vessel. Let's start from there and then work backward and see what we do or how or if we decide to channel our energy around that.
Yes, 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 and more yes.
Yes. And when it comes to wealth, which is something we've talked about, I agree. Wealth is very much state of mind first, wallet second. We actually met, Martin, because I was trying and sometimes succeeding and doing some talks with the National Gay Lesbian Chamber of Commerce with my great friend and colleague Ingrid Galvez. Because Ingrid and I were we were active members of the chamber, but we also just felt that there was disproportionately a dialogue that was about money and business. And nothing wrong with money and business. I'm all about it. But if we're disproportionately focusing on money and balance and leaving out all this other stuff about what's going on in the heart, about what's going on in the mind, about those early messages we're different or less than, then what can happen is people can easily sabotage the success they do get or lose the money they do make if they're operating against these internal, deeper beliefs, these core beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where we met and said, yeah, we have a lot in common because we want to have conversations about wealth and abundance on all of these planes, not just what your bank account says, but what you're feeling in your heart, what you're thinking in your mind.
Yeah, mindset is very, very important. It's all about, from my perspective, it's all about mindset. And the mindset has to include the heart space.
Yeah.
Because the heart space knows the truth. The heart space knows that you're beautiful exactly the way you are. I don't care what your ego mind is telling you that you're too fat, you're too skinny, or your dick's too small.
Yeah.
But your heart knows none of that's true. It knows the truth. It knows you are beautiful and loving just the way you are. So when we create that abundance mindset, that prosperity mindset, that makes it about money, but it's not just about money. It's about I am abundantly wonderful. I'm created from abundance. That's what I am. And then you can, like you're saying, then you can chart a new territory and create a new life for yourself from that place of abundance, knowing that there's nothing missing in you. There's nothing lacking in you. There's absolutely, you are 100% radiantly perfect, just like you are. And that's what we do. And that's what you do. And that's what we help people do, because it's not, I don't do it. We just create the space for people to see the truth. But that is it. When we shift mindset away from any kind of not enough, that's what the scarcity mindset is. It's just, there's some form, and maybe not enough money, maybe not enough good looks, maybe not enough, whatever makes them not as good as the next person in some way, then we're suffering from that scarcity mindset, which is a false narrative. It's a complete lie. It's not true. The truth is you got everything you need within yourself to have a wonderful, wonderful life.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
I know. That's why you're here.
I'm with you. And when we really look, and now I know that some people might hear that and say, oh, well, that works for them, but that could never be my reality. And what I'd say is, well, we're talking first and foremost about what we're doing here before we're talking about the actions we take or the work we do or the people we connect to. We're talking about meeting that abundance here and here. And that is something that we can all access. It might be incremental. You know, it might just be today taking one step or experiencing 1 minute of feeling what we're talking about in terms of experiencing abundance. But the more we can access that in here, and the more we recognize it from here, the more we take actions to create it out there and sustain it out there.
Right, exactly.
And it's incremental. Again, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, well, I, Damon, have this easy. This is
it's you're exactly. It's a practice. It's a practice. We have to practice getting out of our head and into our heart, which is exactly what we did before we came on live. And I want to share the story. Right before I came on live, I got an email from somebody that said I was infringing on their copyright, on their trademark, with what I'm getting copyrighted as the shadow work method. And they sent me an email. Well, I went completely into my head of not enough or too much, or why are they attacking me? I mean, I went so much into my mind of scarcity, of not enough, or whatever it was. And I had to say, okay, I've had enough practice. I got to let this go. I got to get into my heart. So you and I did that. And as soon as I got into my heart, I said, okay, whatever's happening out there in the world, it's all okay. There's enough for everyone. And he and I, whoever this person is, we will work it out, and we'll both come out with a solution that works. But I had to go through the practice with you before we came on here, so I could get into that heart space, so I could be present for this conversation. So you're right. It's not something we get immediately and all of a sudden, okay, now I'm set for life. It is a daily moment to moment practice.
Right. And I think where people might understand that as a metaphor is if we think about weightlifting, because I know pretty much every gay man can understand what it's like. The first time you go to the gym and you look around and you see all those weights, you don't start with the heaviest weight, because if you did, you probably wouldn't be able to lift it and you might hurt yourself trying. So you start, right? The very first time is you start with the lighter weights that are easier to carry, easier to flex, easier to work with. And over time, if you're consistent with that, and hopefully being loving in that, you'll eventually be able to lift the heavier weights and really get your body in motion in terms of getting stronger and sturdier and lifting heavier things as time goes on. And mental process is exactly the same way. I think for you right now, Martin, you're able to do that. You're able to like get this notice about this copyright 10 minutes before we're supposed to talk, and you're able to do sort of that mental heavy lifting to say, okay, come back to center, come back, we're going to figure this out. You know, that might be too heavy for some people who haven't done this work.
I'm sure. I mean, I've been doing it for 40 years. So
right.
Yeah.
Right. But if we think about lifting our synaptic reps the way we typically would talk about our arms or our muscles, then we think about asserting that level of consistent energy in our minds as we do in our bodies. And I've always said, if people went to the mind space as often as they did with the gym, we would live in a very, very different culture.
Exactly. That's what mindset, that's what mindset coaches do. They help you practice a bigger mindset, a prosperity mindset, a more abundant mindset. So because it takes, I mean, I have a mindset coach too. I mean, it's like I'm sure you've got therapists and coaches that help you.
Hmm.
You know, we all have it. I mean, that's the whole point. We share what we learn from others and give it to others in a way that's powerful. And that's exactly right. And it's just about helping people to master that muscle, to master that craft, hone that skill.
Yes. So I have also been thinking about these things, as I said, for quite some time, at least most of the last 20 years, so that when COVID-19 hit, as devastating and tragic and scary as that was, I already sort of had this thing in place to I sort of had this weightlifting system to be able to adjust. And what I'd like to describe is that process, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, sure.
So it comes back to this idea of this peace, purpose, pleasure. How or if I can find peace, purpose, or pleasure on any given day under any given circumstances. So let me explain what that looks like. For me, first and foremost is peace. And that's where real empowerment, internal empowerment comes from. It is a relationship I have with a higher power that is not conditioned or contingent on affection, attention, approval from any other human. It is about a relationship that I maintain with spirit. And it's really about going in, literally beginning the day with the gratitude, like, okay, God, I am just so grateful right now. I still can breathe. I still have a roof over my head. I've got fingers, toes. I've got clean water to drink. Really basic. And that's how I get started on the piece of the day and say, I had a mantra I was using with my clients as well to begin every day or when our stress goes up during COVID. I am safe, I am loved, and I have enough toilet paper.
I love it. I love
That
it.
was their mantra. That is like I practice that with my clients. I am safe,
Perfect. I
I am
love it.
healthy, I am loved, and today I have enough toilet paper. And that was the way that we kind of came back into that peace space and started in the peace space. The next was purpose. What can I do today to be of service? How does my life matter today? Is there anything, which was harder during COVID? What, or if there's anything I can do that could contribute to the world that's going to help me and hopefully others feel better as well? So sometimes that was through the work as a therapist. Other times that was delivering pizzas to essential hospital workers when they were in the worst of the crisis in April. Sometimes that was reaching out to relatives or friends, or just trying to have conversations that might foster a sense of being okay. But it was something that felt purposeful, something that felt meaningful. So I could end the day saying, well, at least one thing today helped someone in the world. That to me is purpose that I nurture. And then the other is pleasure. And we leave that out of the conversation so often. And pleasure can mean a lot of things. A lot of times it can mean something sexual, but it doesn't always have to be sexual. It might be anything tactile that our culture might consider a waste of time or something, well, that doesn't really make money, so why are you doing this? During COVID-19, that was really tricky because the means by which to have any kind of fun or pleasure were very limited if we were going to do them in any kind of safe way. But I still worked very hard to find, okay, can I find pleasure today? Can I find fun today? Maybe it was more about eating. Maybe it was about watching Tiger King. Eventually, it did become connecting with friends again, physically and sexually, to find a harm reduction strategy that made sense for us to be able to offer each other that kind of healing touch and joy that we so craved. But whatever that looks like, peace, purpose, and pleasure. That was how that's how I've gotten through my life. But then, especially during COVID, during those challenges, how I applied these tools to come through this in a way that I feel stronger. I don't want to say I feel good, but it's like I feel like COVID was really, really a test, and all of us that are still here survived a really, really, really major test. We are so fierce. We are so resilient, no matter how we got through this. And however we got through it with peace, purpose, or pleasure, or whatever, however it was, um, I think we deserve to really honor that part of our resiliency for that.
Yeah, I want to thank you so much for that beautiful articulation summary of what you're doing. I do a very similar thing, but instead of pleasure, I use the word joy. That's just my word. But I completely agree with that. If you would use technology of really tapping into that higher power within ourselves where we have peace, and then being able to, well, now that I know who I am from that place of power and peace and love, how can I serve the world today? I'm going to feel better when I can serve others. I think it was Albert Schweitzer who said, we won the Nobel Prize in 1954, who said, everyone he's ever known to be truly happy has learned how to serve others. So if you want to have happiness, if you want to have real joy, it's not going to be in just, having a new car. That will last about 2 seconds. But if you want to have real profound happiness, learn how to serve others. So I love that part. And then pleasure, joy, whatever makes you feel good. We weren't designed to feel bad. We came here to feel good, enjoy our lives.
Yeah.
And I think it's Eckhart Tolle who says that the only things we should do in life are things that we enjoy, the things that we're enthusiastic, or the things that we can accept for a higher purpose.
Yeah.
For example, we may have a dog and no one finds a lot of joy and enthusiasm about cleaning up dog poop on the sidewalk. But if you got a dog and you take them outside, there is a sense of accepting responsibility that you do that task. So it's not like you gives you a green light not to do anything you don't find joyful or enthusiastic, but there's something about being responsible that feels good anyway. So if you follow those three things you're talking about, then that is the key. You just gave us the key to gay men living a life, retiring into a life of power and prosperity and pleasure
Yes.
and wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, what else could there be?
And these are the reasons, Martin, why I'm so hopeful, and where I hear a lot of gay men applying fear is loneliness. Is saying that getting older as a gay man means I'm going to be lonely and I'm not going to have friendships or sexual partners readily available to me as I age. And in my experience, both, now that I'm turning 50 and just as working with older adults my entire career, is that that is not a guarantee. That I lived in Palm Springs for 5 years in California, and that was in my 30s. I was surrounded by friends in their 60s and 70s that had so much joy. They had so much friendship. They were getting so much ass all the time because they were just so much fun. Like they had so much joy. Some of them
Yeah.
had overcome so many obstacles in their lives to get to the point where they could be out and retire and play. And they just exuded that energy of abundance and wealth. And
Right.
again, wealth,
Because
that energetic joy,
we're,
wealth.
we're attracted to that spirit. That's what attracts us. We at a very low level of consciousness, we are attracted to the physical body.
Yeah.
This is the truth. And then the mind makes up a lot of stories. But the real attraction I find, particularly as a 66-year-old man, is that more people are attracted to me because of my spiritual nature. And I'm attracted to them because of their spirit. And it has nothing to do with what I look like. And my looks, I look attractive because of that deep, profound sense of joy that I carry with myself.
Exactly.
That I think is exactly what you're teaching these men, is that when you come from that place of joy, when you are secure in your own beauty and dignity, then people are going to be attracted to you, and you're going to attract others, and you're going to have an abundant life of friends and people who want to get to know you.
It
And
is literally a magnet.
lonely.
It is literally a magnet. Like Martin, you literally attract that joyful, playful, vital energy because that is who you are. And I've seen you in a lot of places. I know that you have that magnetism. And that is something, again, I know that starts from here and something that you have actively practiced. But that, in my experience, is key to being older with abundant peace, abundant friends, community, partners if one chooses to have partners. This is how we can do this. And this is really how our generation can create this and show how this is possible.
Yeah. It's like practicing abundant love for yourself.
Yeah.
Put it back. And we are having so much fun. It's already 4 minutes after the hour, and I like to start the meditation at half hour. So we're going to jump into the meditation really quick.
What?
And we're going to get into that heart space. And so if you're out there, if you're listening to us and you're like, well, how do they get into that? I'm going to show you exactly how to get into that space. Okay. Wow. And I'll tell you something. The ego thinking mind, the part that's keeping you stuck, it does not like this because it's got to be quiet for a little while. So if you're feeling some resistance, okay. That's normal, by the way. It just takes a little practice, but it's just to sit in the discomfort of that resistance and just pay attention and go with Damon and I, okay? On this little meditation trip, it's 20 minutes, and we do something called centering prayer. And that means we're going to center all of our energy around the heart. And we do that with the breath. And one little technique, and we want to quiet the brain, we want to slow down the thinking. And we can't stop the thinking. The brain is made to think, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to say don't think, but it's doing its job. So we want to thank that brilliant brain. We just want to give it a chance to have a little break. And so one of the things, a little technique I'll teach you to slow down the thinking is when we think, the back of our tongue vibrates. So one thing you can do is you can rest the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth, part your lips, relax your jaw. And just do that for a minute and just gently breathe. And as you're breathing, gently massage the back of your tongue. Try that for a moment. Just rest your tongue on the roof of your mouth, slightly part your lips, relax your jaw. And as you breathe, gently massage the back of your tongue.
Wait, I'm confused. The back of how do I massage?
With the breath. The tongue, your tongue is sitting on the roof of your mouth. It's just a place to kind of relax the mouth and relax the tongue. Give the tongue a little anchor. And then the breathing in is the massager. The breath is what's massaging it. Just relax and let the tongue just rest there gently. So you're just feeling the tip of the tongue on the roof of your mouth. And your breath is gently massaging the back of your tongue. And as you're gently massaging the back of your tongue, you're also now focusing on the breath massaging the back of your tongue. So now you're going from outward looking into inward being. And just breathe normally. And we're going to do 3 what I call belly breaths. You're going to hear the bell, and the vibration of the bell take you more deeply in. You're also going to hear some bells throughout the meditation. Those are called wake-up bells. Because when we meditate, we often fall asleep. Or we might be thinking, we get a thought, we get so into that thought, we just follow the thought down a rabbit hole. So the bell is there to kind of wake us up. And we can reset and go back to just that gentle massage of the tongue. We're going to do 3 belly breaths. It's going to look like this. You're going to use your belly muscles to pull the breath in through the tongue, down your throat, massage the tongue, expand the heart, and anchor that breath deep in your belly to anchor your breath into your body, anchor your spirit into your body. So you ready? Breathe it in. Pull it down with your belly muscles. Hold it for a second, and now just easily let it go. Just and when you let it go, let everything go with it. Let every thought, opinion, belief, and judgment you have about yourself, about me, about this moment, let everything go. Hold on to nothing. Consciously let go of every thought, especially those judgments you have of which you are ashamed. Hold on to nothing. And breathe into the emptiness of nothingness, of emptiness. We're going to do another belly breath. We're going to do 3. So with your belly, pull the breath through the nose, down the throat, massage the tongue, open your heart, expand the belly, and just anchor that breath deep in your belly and hold it just for a few seconds. Take in a little bit more, create a little more space, and now let it all go. And let every remaining thought, opinion, judgment, whatever you believe is right or wrong, hold on to nothing. And allow more emptiness and space for something new, for a new beginning. We're going to do one more, then I'm going to be silent. So again, with your belly muscles, pull the breath in through the nose, down your throat, massage the back of your tongue, open your heart, fill up your belly, hold it, and then let it go. Ready? Hold it just a little more. And fall gently into the stillness of infinite love. There's that little sweet wake up bell to wake us up from our thinking, our naps, our worrying. And the invitation is to be grateful for that brilliant brain of ours for doing its work and just ask it to let it go with a smile and open your heart and allow yourself to gently fall into infinite love consciousness, an infinite spark of love within us all. Oh, there's that sweet bell to wake us up from our thinking, our plotting, our planning, our worrying, our sleeping. Just breathe and let everything go and fall back into that gentle stillness of infinite love. Oh, there's that sweet bell. One more time to wake us up, to reset, let go, fall back into the stillness of infinite love energy within us, our essence, our power. There's our final bell to bring us back into this space. Welcome back, Damon.
Hello.
Hello, hello, and thank you everyone for joining us. And Damon, this has been such a joy having you on here today and having someone collaborating with me and how to help make the lives of our brothers out there in the world have a life of joy and prosperity and happiness. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for people to find you?
Well, they could either go to damonljacobs.com. Don't forget the L, damonljacobs.com. They could also see I'm talking about a lot of these issues that we've shared today in a series that I'm writing called The 50 Lessons of 50. You have to spell the number 50, 50 lessons of 50.com. And I'm talking about the 50 lessons that are helping me turn 50 years old with that sense of abundance and power and purpose and pleasure. So 50 lessons of 50.com, and all my information is there as well.
Okay, great. So,
and if people like the shirt, they can get this at adamsnest.com. Just go to Adam's Nest on Instagram or Facebook, or just put in adamsnest.com, and you can get the shirt and many other fun, political, playful message.
I love that shirt. Yeah, I'll check that out. I just saw a little note pop up and said that Adam's Nest asked to join my Facebook group, and I'm going to talk about that for 1 second because that's so. As people know, I am a spiritual teacher. I'm a prosperity and mindset coach, working largely with gay, bi, and trans men, helping entrepreneurs. And I've created a Facebook group specifically for us, and you can go to that. And I'd love for you to join us. But I'm not excluding anybody. And I also have another Facebook group called the Financial Mystics Sanctuary, where I will continue to talk about spiritual matters and more generic things. And there's a reason why I keep the space for men is because men's issues are different than women's issues. And gay men's issues are different than straight men's issues. So it's a safe space for us to go and deal with our shadows and deal with our issues. And that's why, I'm not being discriminatory, I'm being protective. Mm-hmm. And so I've also got two. So and the links are very close to this video. So if you're a gay, bi, or trans man, I'd love to have you join us in our group. And I'd like anyone to join me in the Financial Mystic Sanctuary who want to get to know me and get to know my teachers and build that relationship there as well. So thank you so much again for joining us today and being here. And just stick around for 1 second, Damon, as soon as I close this out, we will have a chat. So thank you everybody for joining us. And Damon, thank you for being here today. And may love and prosperity prevail.